Alright, I want to make sure we can try and get through all of our Moto stuff in relatively close to the assigned amount of time. So we're going to dive into it here. We've got some Burning-Tree Emissary, Hidden Herbalists, a Bushwhacker dot deck here. We've got some Reckless Bushwhacker at the top end. Got a smattering of various aggressive creatures here. At the bottom end, we've got a couple of Ghor-Clan Rampagers and Atarka's commands to help push some damage through. Let's dive on into some matches here and see how they go. We've played decks similar to this in the past, and they felt reasonably consistent and powerful. If Modern is a garbage fire, are the tickets fuel? Yeah, basically. No, I don't really do 24-hour streams anymore. There's the content just ends up like being not good by the end. Zoptic, thank you for the 12 months of support. Let's get you a sword to go with that shield. Thanks for keeping me around. Yeah, Sands Creep. Need to go turn 1 Wild Nacatl, turn 2 Burning-Tree Emissary, Surge the Bushwhacker, attack for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Amused Griffin. All of the 1 years coming in hot. Welcome, welcome. One of your finest Stomping Grounds, please. You go ape on our opponent? Yeah, something like that. Something like that. Yeah, Simian Spirit Guy would let us put the Kird Ape into play too. Drawing another land here isn't the greatest, but it is what it is. Hopefully we don't get spell snared. They have Path to Exile, I might be okay too here. If they just take this hit, we should be in a pretty good spot. They have a piece of 1 mana removal, we're only going to hit them for 5, and that's probably not enough to get across the finish line with how bad the rest of our hand is. Yeah, that's unfortunate. I think this is our only basic here too, right? No, I have a mountain. Alright. Yeah, I think with a piece of spot removal on 1, I need to hope to just draw spells for the rest of the game here, and that's kind of unlikely. Alright. Slow and steady. Oh no, are they playing Terminus? That's terrifying. Terminus is scary. I'm supposed to get a couple turns of attacking before you sweep my board. Don't Terminus me, opponent. If we get 1 more attack in here, the Lightning Bolt could probably finish things off, or another haste creature. Yeah, chat has become a lot more civilized since we moved to sub only. Oh no, not a Narset. How will I ever win the game now, opponent? Ban Blood Moon, thank you for the 10 months of support. I appreciate that. Welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. I'm going to hold on to this because we have Revolt creatures in our deck. So I'm not going to bolt them just yet because Force of Negation is free on my turn, so I'm going to pass back. So they're going to have to spend a bunch of mana in order to not die to the board. This is definitely a matchup that gets harder for us post-board, especially when our opponent is going to be able to know that they can mulligan for specific types of hands. Dying like this is such a blue-white move. Yeah, it is pretty traditional blue-white control. Just getting the old getting the rundowns here. Risk factors and Boros Charms are great. Dismember's probably not good. I think I actually don't want Simian Spirit Guide in this matchup just because I'd rather my threats be a little bit, or my deck have a little bit more threat density in it. Cindervine seems like it'd be good on the sideboard. Maybe, I don't know if this deck really has a bad Storm matchup, which is like the one place Cindervine's better than Destructive Revelry for me in a meaningful way. I'd rather cut Ghor-Clan Rampager or Lightning Bolt. I'd probably rather cut Ghor-Clan Rampager, huh? I kind of just want to be like a pseudo burn deck here. A D-Rev might actually be okay. They do have some stuff. Having this many non-creature spells on a Thalia is a little bit medium, but I guess it's only one Thalia at that. This seems fine. The goal is to like get the first like 10 or so points of damage in and then like burn them out from there. Morning, Torcat. Yikes. Easy mulligan here. Our deck's littered with 1-drops. We don't have a great way to cast these things with Surge, and they don't give a bonus if you don't cast them with Surge, so... this hand is absurd. This is pretty close to the nut draw. We go turn 1 Kird Ape, turn 2 Herbalist, Burning-Tree Bushwhacker kicked. I'm going to hold on to Arid Mesa here, because Hidden Herbalist only makes 2 green mana when it comes into play if you have Revolt, so that means something had to leave play that turn for you. Let's see how interactive our opponent's going to be here. If they have a counter spell, they might be fine. So it's important that you lead on Herbalist, because Herbalist makes green. And then Burning-Tree Emissary makes red-green and casts off of green or red mana. So the green from here casts this, and the trigger from this casts Bushwhacker. This is the part where they opt into a Terminus. We just like flip the table over. What are they thinking about countering this one? Yeah. So Button had a little bit of interaction there. Not quite as dead as we'd like them to be. If they just had a path this turn, they would have still taken 8, which is pretty impressive. It always kind of sucks to have a basic in your opener against their, like, Field of Ruin, Path to Exile deck. Hoping to draw a land next turn, actually, so we can go 1-drop Bushwhacker kicked. The wildest of Nacatls. Now the real question is, do I hit their Teferi? I probably don't, right? This is 7-9. Yeah, I think I just put them to 8. So this is the Supreme Verdict, Wrath of God turn. I guess this technically Gives them, oh, those lands don't cast Supreme Verdict or Wrath of God. No, they do not. They also don't cast Cryptic Command. You'll note here, I fetched a second white source when I cracked this fetch land, and the reason for that is I don't have a basic plains in my deck, so if they field me, they could field me off of white if I don't fetch a second white here. Yeah, hopefully Atarka's command is lethal. I gotta imagine they have something else, right? There's like no way you keep just like Teferi Mana Leak as your only interaction on the play, right? Yeah. I gotta do this now because Teferi's sitting in play. I don't really want to trade this for 1/1/1, so I assume we're going to see them block across the board here. Jump the 4, yeah, go down to 8. Makes sense. Cast my Kird Ape. I have 7 power in play, they're at 8. The pause there in the timely reinforcements felt like maybe they have a sweeper but don't have the mana to cast it, and like we're debating Field of Rooting that turn so they could get the mana to sweeper me the following turn. Am I supposed to hit Teferi at this point? Nah, probably not. I think I'm just supposed to put them to 1 if I can. Double timely's pretty good. Yeah, double black's hard to cast in that mana base for sure. If I recall correctly, the red-black aristocrats deck only has if I recall correctly, the red-black aristocrats deck only has 14 black sources, which makes double black pretty prohibitive. Good pickup. Yeah, this is game 2 and they're up a game. Or we're up a game. So I'm gonna concede to the third third timely. Yeah, they gained 18 life there, and they're ending the game at like 18, so we dealt 20. We did our job. Hey, Pinky, thanks for the half year support. I appreciate that. Welcome. V-Ball, thank you for the 9 months of support. Welcome back. And I'm pretty happy with how we sideboarded. Let's just like not get triple timely reinforcements this game. This is a deck where, and this is a lot of decks in Modern, you don't really control your own destiny very much with a deck like this. A lot of your decisions with a deck like this go into how you mulligan and how you sideboard, and then like once you're in the actual games, it's very straightforward as to how you actually play the deck. This is, like many decks in Modern, this deck is just about asking the question like, hey, do you have it? If you don't have it, I'm going to kill you. If you do have it, maybe we'll play a game. 4-lander here, I think is a pretty easy mulligan. This hand is like not very good, but I think it's a keep at 6. Opponent went to 6 as well. Their 6 last game was also very good. Going down on cards, I think, definitely favors my opponent's deck. They have cards like Timely Reinforcement and Supreme Verdict that are worth, like, multiple of my cards. Yeah, I agree. The 6 is definitely better than a 5. I think we might do Underlords Friday this week. It depends on what the balance patch looks like. They went to 5, so hopefully a bad 6 is enough to beat them. That said, Goblin Guide might unmulligan them here, because he is a giver. Cryptic Command, that one's not going to be relevant for a little bit. Epilal, thank you for the very generous Tier 3 resub, and for the 5th month of that. Welcome back. Hope you're having a great start to your Wednesday. Thanks for keeping me around. I think I'm just supposed to pass here. I mean, I have 4 Atarka's Command in our main deck, so like, do you think we need 5 Skullcracks? Like, Skullcrack wouldn't have helped me in that last game. They had 3 mana Teferi in play. Alright, so this is why I waited to cast this last turn. Because now that I drew a land, I can Surge the Bushwhacker off of the 2 green. That being said, if they have a mana leak here, I end up in a little bit of trouble. It is what it is. Well, I drew them a card. Goblin Guide's done 6 damage, but I gave them a card. And maybe I should have just played this last turn on 2, just as like a Grizzly Bear. Yeah, I'm not really sure that we can beat that. That card's just worth like 6 of our cards. Maybe if their hand is bad from here, we can have a shot. I'm going to crack one of these 2 fetches, just because I prefer not to draw more lands. We're going to keep 1 as a Revolt enabler. So I can like bolt a token, kick the Bushwhacker, attack. That's still not very good for me though. I think I'm just passing again here. Because if I draw a land, they didn't do that at sorcery speed, so they probably have a mana leak or something like that. If I draw a land, I can bolt them, kick the Bushwhacker, Atarka's Command. We're probably dead at this point, though. They're at 15 still. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and concede. Like I said, this is a deck where you just kind of ask yourself, you just kind of ask your opponent the question, like, do you have the stuff? And then, like, if your control opponent has their timely reinforcements, you just die. There aren't a whole lot of meaningful decisions behind it. Only real choice I kind of had this game was, did I want to play Hidden Herbalists on 2 or not? And even if I do, like, it ends up getting in, like, maybe 4 more points of damage. Probably just 2. I think the way things lined up. I guess it makes the Atarka's Command better if I have the Hidden Herbalists in play. Could see that making a difference. But the average individual, this is definitely a deck where the individual card quality tends to be kind of low. So like when your synergies don't come together, you're just like left with 2/2s and 2/1s. It's like staring down the barrel of your opponent's much better cards. Yeah, this is fine. So I'd really like to draw a fetch land. So that way, I guess I don't have. I guess these Kird Apes aren't turned on. I guess that's awkward. If we draw a fetch, we can go Herbalist, Burning-Tree, Kird Ape on 2. Quick question about elves. What do you think of Leyline of Abundance, maybe with Devoted Druid? I don't think Devoted Druid or Leyline of Abundance do anything to help the elves deck. The elves deck isn't playing really big expensive cards. So I'm not really sure that you need a card that like makes your mana dorks make more mana. I also think the Devoted Druid combo just doesn't really belong. I think you'd rather just be playing 1 mana accelerants. So we're going to go ahead and play Kird Ape. Attack for 1. And the whole world has a pollution problem, Otros. The problem with banning older cards, policies like that are really tough because a ban like that, for instance, that bans cards that are older than 5 years, like that doesn't seem on the surface to me, that doesn't really seem like good policy, because one, the types of people who can't afford to like get a newer car are people that are worse off, yeah. And not to mention, if you're talking from a pure pollution standpoint, the amount of carbon you put into the environment by buying a new car tends to outweigh the amount of extra pollution your older car that still works gets. So like from a waste conservation standpoint, it's better to keep driving your old car with worse emissions for the planet than it is to like throw it away and get a new car. At least from my understanding. If someone has math that shows that that's not the case, feel free to share, but I'm pretty sure that's the case. Alright, well, we trampled through a Tarmogoyf, so we got that going for us. Hidden Herbalist just hanging out in our hand, being a 2/2 for 2, which is not stellar. That's why, for instance, when a lot of places impose a carbon tax or carbon fee or whatever you want to call it, they pay back out the dividends from that tax to people based on what their income level is. So that way, the carbon tax doesn't disproportionately impact people who don't have the economic means to actually pay for it. That's a 4/4. It's my deck full of 2/2's greatest enemy, a creature with more than 2 toughness. Yeah, these heavily interactive decks are pretty bad matchups for this archetype. This deck's pretty linear and just kind of hoping to race other people. And people that have like mana bases that aren't painful and quality removal, timely reinforcement, stuff like that, just kind of pick this deck apart. Alright, well. Oh-ho. We're halfway there. Oh-ho. Living on a prayer. Take my hand. We'll make it, I swear. We're going to stack these so this evolves before this trigger happens. Because if the trigger happens first, this won't get an evolve from the 2/1. This is a hit for 8 here. And we are not dead on the backswing, which is nice. They have a fatal push. This hit is only for 5 then. I guess they technically took 1 off their land, huh? So they're going to 4. This means Scavengling Ooze. Alright, and we're dead. This card is super good against these creature decks. I guess my opponent doesn't have a ton of Painless Green. Yeah, nice dirty digits. Yeah, if you're someone who's like ready to get a new card, getting something that's green makes a lot of sense and is a good decision. But like upgrading a car that's like functional in exchange, upgrading a car that's like functional for a newer one, even if it's a green car, like the amount of emissions that go into the environment from like producing that car is generally not favorable. Alright, so I probably want Path to Exiles and Dismembers. I'm often not a fan of Rest in Peace against green-black decks, but my opponent's green-black decks has the Traverse creature in it, so I'm kind of more inclined to bring in this Rest in Peace because they have the Traverse creatures. In fact, the Rips might just be better than these paths. And again, I'm going to go ahead and trim these Simian Spirit Guides just because my opponent's a fair deck that's not trying to race me. So I want to be a little bit more, a little bit higher card quality, less mana density, basically. There's less racing, more just hoping to have a higher density of spells here. Let's give this a try. Hey, thanks for the 13 months, Squarth. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Hope you're having a wonderful Wednesday morning wherever you are. Yeah, this is great, right? I get to go turn 1 Nacatl, turn 2 Herbalist, double Nacatl. And actually, so an interesting question here is, am I supposed to lead on Goblin Guide? So that way they can't like Inquisition a Wild Nacatl and prevent me from casting 2 spells next turn. Because like if I lead on Nacatl and they Inquisition me and take the other Nacatl, I can't Herbalist double creature. I think I'm gonna lead on Goblin Guide because it plays around Inquisition a little bit. It's similar amounts of damage, right? Because like I'm attacking for, I guess it's 2 and 2 instead of just 3 the next turn. Over 3 turns, Goblin Guide does 6. Over 3 turns, Nacatl does 6. And now they might just take the Herbalist here. Yeah. Grab Temple Garden. Oh no! Oh no! It's an aggro deck's worst nightmare, chat. A kitchen fix. Oh no! How does this Wild Nacatl's natural predator? Oh good, they have to fetch shock to get green mana. Whew! What year is it? I don't understand. I assume something's dying here. Yeah, so this could do +5 and put them to 4, but I think I'd rather just like continue going wide here. These are my dorks. Like I said, this deck's a lot about just like how you mulligan, put your stuff into play, hope for the best. Are they dead? They block this. They take 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. My opponent has died. I'm gonna stop on my turn during my upkeep to let them know that I wasn't lucky in top deck this. It's very important to send the message that I had this the whole time. Gotta let them know I'm not lucky. We set it up this way. Upkeep stop is valuable. Get him. Now we have to try and win a game on the draw, which is like not a good scene. Kitchen Finks is another reason to have your rest in peace in our deck. Stops that thing from persisting back. Yeah, the flex, the actual never didn't have it line. Kitchen Finks means I'm going to cut this Dismember and bring in a Path to Exile. I don't know that I want a second path. I think one's probably fine. Mostly just want to be aggressive. BE aggressive. You can Surgical Finks in response to Persist Trigger, but that seems much worse than just like having a Path to Exile in my deck. I might keep this. I think 6 mana Liliana is reasonable. There's Secret sideboard. I don't know. 6 mana is a ton. I feel like you already get gummed up on having God Eternal Bantu. And 6 mana Liliana is like a lot less aggressive than other options. Just a B. Thanks for the 10 months of Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. Hands like this are always tough ones. It's just like, well, my hand's not very good, but like taking a bunch of mulligans against my opponent's deck full of discard spells is like also not very good. Just like any 1 or 2 mana creature, please. So Vexing Devil does not make experimental 1 a 3/3. You're thinking of Belt Collector. Yeah, I love that Wild Nacatl was banned at one point because it gives us like this really reasonable thing to point to when people are like, the modern ban list has to make sense, Jeff. It's just how it works. And it's just like, no, the modern ban list does in fact not have to make sense. You mean the 7-land Belcher deck? I think the 7-land Belcher deck is actually, like, fine against the discard decks by casting Worm Coils and stuff like that. I'm holding on to this Atarka's command for the time being because if my opponent plays, like, a Kitchen Finks, I can Skullcrack them with it. So, like, if I give this +1/+1, it's, like, 4 damage total. But, like, if I stop a Kitchen Finks from gaining life, it's kind of like dealing 5 damage. Yeah, I think Rampager's going to be a 4/4 trampler this game, for sure. Unless I, like, deploy a blocker. But I've got a lot of removal, so... I have no idea what that deck is. Have never seen it. I think we've died, chat. They've played a Tarmogoyf. I believe we have died. Yeah, they're at 19. They have a 5/6. Oh, Moto. So I remembered that I had a 4th monitor in my garage. So I added a fourth monitor to my setup. I tweeted a picture of this yesterday. So I've had these three on my desk for a while. I added a fourth one over here that I can like throw YouTube videos up on or whatever while I'm doing other work with my normal workflow on the main one. And believe it or not, Magic Online has awful multi-monitor support. So instead of it popping up the notifications in the center of my center screen, apparently it pops up the notifications in the center of my total resolution. So it keeps popping up like the Finding League opponent and messages and stuff like that underneath where my Twitch chat normally is on my screen. It's just like, stop doing that. Just put it in the center of the screen that you're actually on. When Moto was developed, multi-monitors wasn't a thing. Yeah, now I just need to get a fifth monitor for the other side. No, I didn't, Python. This is a viewer submitted deck list. I don't know. I don't have enough experience, but like one of the things I guess I didn't talk about this is that like if you look at the numbers in this deck list, there are a bunch of random 2s and 3s, and I don't think there was any 1s. There's a bunch of 2s and 3s, and some number of these things are definitely not optimal. Like there's a certain, some of these 1-drops are just better than the others. And if you were gonna play this deck, I would definitely recommend spending a bunch of time figuring out which ones are actually optimal. But do I know which ones are optimal after playing this archetype once? I have no idea. Why not Guide there and cast Goblin and Wild? Because the Bushwhacker gives you more extra power for every extra creature you have in play. It also ended up working out really well because I got to cast one mana creature a while back. We don't talk about hateful content producers on this channel, Enya. So I'd encourage you not to promote that person or mention their name ever again. Also, the concept of one specific person inventing a deck of Magic is so idiotic and naive and like, it's so silly. People, like the fact that like we had 2 people in the world simultaneously come to conclusions about calculus, but 2 different people can't have come up with the same idea for a Magic deck at the same time. It's so silly to me. The card designers invent most of these archetypes and expect people to find them. All right, looking like Red Prison, gonna Red Prison here and die without doing anything. For people wondering why I haven't cast these cards, I direct you to Exhibit A. Are they conceding? Please tell me they're conceding. My opponent is conceded from the game. Moto's locked up, but my opponent's conceded from the game. Alright, so this is even funnier. So half of the pop-ups it's putting in the center of my screen. But another half of them it's just putting off to the side. It's like, what are we doing, Moto? Can we make up our mind? Can we make up our mind? Alright, I'm gonna cut a bunch of 1-mana things to play around Chalice a little bit. They may or may not be a Blood Moon deck. No, it does not assume a new default position for it. I probably want Ancient Grudge, actually. Alright, let's do it. Yeah, they are a Blood Moon deck. There's a question of if they leave in Blood Moon against us, just because, like, we're aggressive and can get under it. Hey, Perla. Well, thanks for checking in on the YouTube stuff. And I appreciate the continued support. Hope life is treating you well. This keep is fine. Hans Hinters, thank you for the half a year support. Welcome, welcome, welcome back. Yeah, we didn't play against any Tron yesterday, so I'm actually going to go ahead, even though fetching a basic forest here means I don't have white mana in my hand just yet, I think it's correct to fetch the basic forest just in case they leave Blood Moon in against me. Nice. 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 Immediately drew our fetch land too. It's very nice. Wait, let me drag this prompt into the middle of my screen here that's been created off to the side. Man, I might have to I might this fourth monitor might not work out if Moto's gonna just have a hissy fit about it. I wonder what Moto would do if I wonder what Moto would do if I pulled up my multi-monitor geometry and positioned this monitor underneath this one instead of off to the right side. I kind of feel like it might lose its mind, so maybe I shouldn't try that. I'm gonna attack my 2/3s into their 2/2 here. That might work. I've never changed, I guess we don't have that many viewers right now. Okay, if OBS crashes when I do this, I apologize. If my computer goes insane, I'm sorry. I'm gonna hit apply. Are you all still here? Are you all still here? Do you hear me? Do you see me? It worked fine. We're all still here. Look at that. Look at that. All right. Well, I guess we'll have to wait for a prompt to come up to figure out what's going on. All right. So I theoretically, now when I mouse off the bottom of this screen, I go onto the fourth monitor. Maybe that's an appropriate workaround. Fourth monitor should be the vegetable guy loop on commercial 24/7. Yep. That seems only reasonable. I mean, I didn't drop any frames, so I assume whatever issues you're having are on your end. I could derev this, but unlocking my white mana seems pretty important here. Land. Goblin Guide is better than a land. Alright, so we go GG. Into whack. Admiral Ozbot. So that's what those people felt before the Y2K bug. Thanks for the 21 months of support. I appreciate it. Welcome, welcome, welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Send in the idiots. I assume we're going to see them trade, take 8, go to 2, and then they're dead to Boros Charm. All right, you are at 1. Oh, I bet they think they survived. Getcha. Arg. All right, chat. We're on the scoreboard. We're on the scoreboard. Now here's the real question. When I hit this play league match button, where is the pop-up gonna appear? What if it appears like right here at the bottom of my screen? All right, science says. It still created it off to the right side under my Twitch chat. What if I relaunch Moto? Maybe it takes in the monitor geometry when it launches. That sounds like something Moto would do. I bet it takes in the monitor geometry when it launches. Let's relaunch here. Oh, my window manager did move my windows everywhere though. Actually, let's throw some of you all down here. Yeah, let's do that. Modern problems require modern solutions. Yep, listen. This is Jeff Hoagland's live debugging stream. Oh, the Moto pop-up popped up down here at the bottom. And to be fair, it popping up at the bottom is better for me than it popping up off on the right side. So, what's the background image of? That is the logo of the Linux distribution that I'm using. This is the Bodhi Linux Leaf logo. Sounds to me like your monitor problem is a perfect, healthy format, no changes. It's 2 on the nose. Oh, it popped up in the middle. We did it, chat. We did science successfully. We have manipulated Magic Online into doing what we wanted to do. All right, this hand really wants to draw a 1-drop, but like these 3 cards and 2 lands are like super keepable, so we're gonna keep, because our turn 2 is like Herbalist, Burning-Tree, kick the Bushwhacker, attack for 8. So ideally we're gonna hit a 1-drop on turn 1 because we're on the draw. But I think like these 2 plus 2 lands you keep regardless of what. Yeah, exactly. How does a 4th monitor being on the bottom affect my user experience? It technically means I need to move the mouse less, but it's going to take a little bit of adjusting to remember that I need to mouse down to get over here. When a goblin you control is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, put a 1/1 counter on Knucklebone Witch. Yeah, my brain can definitely adjust to it. It'll be okay. That's another Hidden Herbalist. All right, so let's, so we're hoping to draw another Hidden Herbalist or a Burning-Tree Emissary next turn. And just, like, spew the hand. Yeah, looks like we're playing against Goblin Tribal here. But it also mulligan to 6 this game, it looks like. Are they mulligan lower than that? The opponent started on 5. Storm is 2. Storm is 3. Storm is 4. Trigger. Oh, we're halfway there. Oh, living on a prayer. Take my hand. We'll make it, I swear. Oh, dee 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 dee, be dee 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 dee. Mog War Marshal. That card's actually pretty good with Little Witchy Poo here. Bolt. I think I want to bolt this to keep my dork alive. I mean, to be fair, the second bolt off the top there was worse than an Atarka's command would have been, right? Atarka's command would have been lethal, and it would have saved our guy. Alright, so we're going to trade. They're going to go to 1. Lava Dart one time. Alright, so this is probably a Lightning Helix matchup, because I assume we're going to get into some racing situations. Ghor-Clan Rampager seems great, because they're definitely going to be blocking us on occasion. Some other Simian Spirit Guide out matchup. I could see this being a Simian Spirit Guide out matchup. Maybe I just trim 1 to get the Helix in. That seems fine. Let's do it. Are there dorky creatures and no Tron lands in your Tron deck? There's Tron lands in our Tron deck. Yeah, there's Tron lands in the Tron deck. There's a bunch of Stonehorn Dignitaries and Ghostly Flickers, but there are definitely Tron lands as well. Yeah, this hand looks great. I think I'm going to actually pitch the Bushwhacker here. I think we're just like Guide plus Nacatl plus these to push damage through blockers. This doesn't attack into blockers very well, and I don't have a good way to surge it. Yeah, I definitely agree. Like I've talked about, we've talked about how like there isn't a ton of player agency with a deck like this, but honestly, occasionally playing a deck of this fashion is kind of therapeutic. You're just like, it's just good, honest Magic, basically, right? Turn 1 Fiery Islet against the aggro deck. It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him. We're gonna play Tron lands in just a second, Jerry. Auto tapper on Moto Wen, right? It's like, please understand what I wanted and do what I wanted. Please, please, please. I think they're just playing this as, I think they're just playing these as red cycle lands. Punchworthy. They probably have the goblin that comes into play and deals damage equal to the number of goblins they control. Yeah. So that was basically a Boros Charm, which basically a Boros Charm combined with this Ghor-Clan Rampager might be enough to kill them on the back of these things. That's probably lethal. Yep. Let's take the... Look at that! The confirmation dialogue popped up center bottom of the screen. So we didn't completely fix it. In fact, we actually accurately estimated what Moto was going to do. But popping up at the middle of the bottom here is better than it popping up over on the right side for me. So we're gonna call that science a success still. It must just, like, sum the total width of your resolution and the total height and just, like, stick it smack dab in the middle is what it must be doing. The solution is to get a 5th monitor and put it above the center display now. Yep. Three 21.9s. I mean, I only added a 4th screen because I just, like, had one sitting in my garage. And, like, my 1080 GTX has a fourth display port on it. So I, like, had to buy a $10 cable to hook it up. All right, and then next turn, we're hoping to draw a land so we can go Lightning Bolt you Bushwhacker. If you set your displays as a diagonal, where would the prompt be? It's a good question. Yeah, if this could make red mana, the deck would definitely be better. Hey, look, there's the land I wanted for Christmas. Upstairs. Now, if they have a 1-drop and a Munitions Expert, we might be in a little bit of trouble here. Yeah, so Munitions Expert lets them kill the Bushwhacker, trade with the 3-2, but then they're taking 8 down to 5 still. And, like, they've got this Islet, and I've got this Atarka's Command, so we're in, like, a pretty okay spot. Wow, they just went to 2? There's no way that's right. Unless they're, like, untapping and killing me here. Yeah, just did. All right. Nice mid-range goblin stack. Grr, arg. Still better than being off to the right. How can you tell if you're subscribed? If you are typing in chat, you know you are subscribed, Chase. And thanks for the support. There's also an icon next to your name. I'm just gonna throw a land back here. We aim to please, Jace. We aim to please. Whoop, sorry. That was set to the wrong monitor. Enjoy a peek at my Facebook. It's not that exciting, I promise. Get used to where all these screens belong, chat. It's new and confusing. Hey, good morning to you too, J-Law. It's a shame that wasn't a fetch shock, Thoughtseize, I agree. Well, I just realized that, like, because I have this extra monitor up, I can, like, leave my Facebook up on the last monitor, so that way when a message pops up, I don't have to, like, click over to the tab. I can just glance over and see if it was my wife or someone I don't care about. Although, having Facebook up on the extra screen means I desperately need, Facebook desperately needs a dark mode. I've never noticed the sub-only chat strange. Yeah, I mean, well, part of the reason why is sub-only chat's been successful is because the community's large enough at this point that we have enough people to keep chat going. That's how I differentiate people, fiancé, and people I don't care about. Well, usually when she messages me on Twitch, it's because I didn't notice that she messaged me on Facebook. You have a link to that, Winspinks? What's the standalone web app? I do pretty much just use it for Messenger. I see you, Anner. I see you. What's your favorite sauce/condiment? Do I really have to pick a favorite? Sauce is what makes life worth living. Sauce is what makes life worth living. I mean, to be fair, Zikta, we're very blessed here to have a community large enough that we can support a sub-only chat. A lot of, especially Magic streamers, don't have that fortunateness. Like their chat would just be empty if they were in sub-only chat a lot of the time. So technically, this isn't their legendary border. Because planeswalkers don't have the curly part at the top, and my frame says it's a planeswalker. So this is Photoshop. And no, they know I make them money, right? So like they're okay with me playing their games and using their stuff for fan content purposes. Opponent, opponent, do 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 do. Yeah, like watch the official Magic stream when they're in sub-only mode. Look at how much their chat moves. Yeah, we won game 3. We're playing for our treasure chesty here. Mod on mod violence. Correct, Jerry. Nah, it's fine. Every community needs a heal, right? How do I ever beat a 3-4, chat? Can I ever beat a 3-4? I'm not certain we can beat a 3-4. I guess this has Death Touch. Alright, this one's unblockable at least. Well, I mean, as far as top decks go, up and over. There's 3 creatures in bins for the Scavenging Ooze to enjoy. Bust! Thank you for the 8 months of support there. I appreciate that. Welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. Hope you're having a good one wherever you are. I mean, I like money though, Cruel's Ultimatum. Like a lot of those big tournaments that they invite other people to other than me, they pay out a pretty significant amount of money, right? And like, this pays my bills, but like, I'm a greedy American. I'll always take an extra slice of pie. Tron player, you're gonna enjoy the pauper we have coming up next. Thank you for the 13 months. We're gonna be playing some Tron here on stream momentarily. After we finish losing this match of Magic. I think it's just Paths in, Spirit Guides out. I don't think I want to board in Rest in Peace in this matchup. I only boarded in against the green-black player because they had Delirium creatures. Which flavor of Pauper Tron is it? I looked over a few different lists that have been putting up results, and I grabbed one that had Stonehorn Dignitary and Ghostly Flicker. Because that one seemed like peak misery on paper. And that's what I look for in a modern deck, really, is peak misery. Oh no! Man, can you believe Wild Nacatl was banned in this format? What an incredibly stupid format. What an incredibly poor ban list. What if we ban Wild Nacatl? Wild Nacatl seems too strong. Too strong, Jeff. Gotta ban the Wild Nacatl. Yeah, there's a reason for that, Jensen. To strap your tinfoil hat on here for a second, the Area 51 memes were probably created by someone within the administration to help create a new internet sensation to distract from the actual important things that are going on. That's something this administration has done a lot. We're basically just like completely numb to like, we're like outrage numb, right? Like the president's recent incredibly racist tweets were there to overshadow the news and stuff, information from the Epstein case, which was to overshadow whatever previously stupid thing he did before that. Just the constant barrage of like things that you're supposed to be upset about. It just gets numbing after a while. Yikes. So, if you would have told me we were going to lose to... and this time, Moto decided to randomly populate the added to your collections pop-up on my left monitor. I feel, is it just rolling dice to decide where it positions things? Is that the idea? Does it have any idea where it's going to do things before it actually pops them up? The shuffler decides where to put it. Yeah, exactly. The same code that controls the shuffler controls where the pop-ups end up at. Yeah, so ultimately in terms of like pure power level, this deck's okay. I think it's really bad against a lot of the fair interactive decks. A lot of the fair interactive decks are designed to be able to interact with these very heavily creature-powered decks. You have the Fatal Pushes, the Lightning Bolts, the Helixes, the Timely Reinforcements, just like give this deck a really hard time. My one comment on if I was going to, this was the deck I was working on, there's a bunch of 2s and 3s in these 1-drop creatures, and some of these 1-drop creatures are certainly better than the others, and I think if I wanted to optimize here, I would spend effort trying to figure out exactly which of these ones are good and which of these ones are bad, and play 4 of the good ones and cut the bad ones.